7. I think I called it the 4th just now. I think my marbles are going. But of course, Burnham-on-Sea and Bridgewater have been and gone, and Ramblers winning their local class, of course, at Bridgewater, and the open class at Burnham. So they're on 2 out of 2 so far. It's also been a successful year so far for the Hucky Duck Carnival Club, all the way from Colford near Bath, and one of our furthest travelled carnival clubs. And their entry this year, the Scarecrow Tea Party, has again been successful at both carnivals so far in the tableau class. When it comes to the comic side of things, the Newmarket Carnival Club from Bridgewater have seen a great amount of success once again with their entry so far this year, and it's called Ghost Chickens. I think once you see it, you'll understand it. Fantastic variety of entries again, and just the scale of these carts year after year. Obviously things are getting tough out there cost wise, but the carnival clubs do come together each and every year and put on a spectacular show. Not without its problems though. I think it's fair to say some of the clubs have had issues over the first couple of carnivals, but it's really heartwarming to see how much the different carnival clubs throughout the southwest do stick together and look after one another, despite the fact that it is a competition and things can get a little bit competitive at times. When it comes to the crunch, all the clubs are there to support each other, because let's be fair, it's not the average thing, is it, to move an abnormal load that's covered in light bulbs around the streets of a narrow county every November. But we're all mad enough to keep doing it. Of course, when it comes to the actual entries in tonight's processions, there will be some of the clubs that might have some incidental sponsors for bits and pieces, but let's just say probably 95% of this entire procession tonight is completely self-funded. So all the clubs have to spend half the year raising all the funds that they need to put on these magnificent entries, and as you can imagine, there's a very high cost involved with that in this day and age. And then they spend the rest of the year putting them together and performing for the general public. And when you think there's only a certain amount of winners, it really is dedication to the cause. If you are just joining us, this is the YouTube link to the coverage of Weston Supermare's live stream for 2025. Courtesy of Pro V Productions and Lounges.tv. My name's Bill Bevan, and I'll be here with you throughout tonight's proceedings as we await the third of the 7 Somerset Guy Fawkes County Carnivals for 2025.
Just keep an eye here. No one should get through that. There's a red button on it. Press that. Yeah. And what I want during the carnival, that mutes it, alright, so you can hear everything, alright?
So we are just under an hour away from the start of Weston Supermare Guy Fawkes Carnival for 2025. And we are hoping, of course, for a kick-off on time tonight. We have had some issues with Weston Carnival in the past starting on time for various reasons. And indeed, at Burnham-on-Sea Carnival just the other night there was a delay for some time. due to a breakdown in modern communication. They had to revert back to the standard analogue walkie-talkies to allow the procession to continue, but nonetheless we did get there, although it did make for a very late night for a lot of the performers in the procession, and we certainly don't want that here tonight at Weston-super-Mare, as of course the baton will be passed immediately after the procession finishes tonight, as all the entries will be crossing the county of Somerset once again and heading down to North Petherton. It's not often you head down to the north, is it? But North Petherton Carnival on the outskirts of Bridgewater, between Bridgewater and Taunton, of course, their procession will take place tomorrow night, Saturday night, from 7 p.m. So if you are just joining us, this is the test stream for the stream of Weston-super-Mare Carnival tonight. Courtesy of Pro V Productions and hosted by Lounges.tv. Thank you so much for joining us. We're just making final preparations before the procession starts in just over 50 minutes time now. My name's Bill Bevan and I will be here with you throughout this evening to guide you through proceedings, hopefully not boring you to death and hopefully not spending the whole evening talking over what has got to be one of the greatest free shows on earth. But of course it is not free when it comes to putting this on. It costs an enormous amount of money. And the plea from Western Carnival Committee for 2025, please do support us, even if it's with £1 or £2, as it could make all the difference for whether or not these amazing Somerset traditions continue as we reach further into the 21st century. Of course, the origins of these processions date right the way back to 1605 and the Gunpowder Plot. Of course, it was Guy Fawkes' night on Wednesday night. And, at the time, of course, when the plot failed, it was ordered that every town in the land should celebrate the fact that it failed, and essentially Bridgewater continued this at some level for many years, and then became more of an organised event in the 1880s, I believe it was. But getting on for 150 years ago, and from that the tradition of the carnival has developed, and there's other towns and organisations in the 20th century that have popped up throughout the southwest with carnival processions, and of course Weston being one of them. One of the younger processions, though, I believe Weston-super-Mare's been running since the late 1960s, but I'm ready to be corrected on that one. And we really do hope it stays dry this evening. Of course, even the seasoned pros that take part in these processions always have that element of doubt when it comes to Weston-super-Mare Carnival, because of course it is the only parade on the Guy Fawkes circuit where we see the most amount and the very largest entries, where they have to parade along the seafront, looking over the Bristol Channel across to South Wales, of course, and it is quite visible from South Wales on a clear night, which it's looking like we could have tonight. Temperatures are expected to drop later on this evening, though. I'm sure you can imagine the huge amount of organisation that goes into putting on any event, let alone a carnival procession that takes over most of your local town centre. So we really must pay tribute to the...
That's on the YouTube at the minute.
Okay.
Live chat.
Lovely. There you go, you can hear me, that's nice. Oh, hello 51 people that have joined us so far. Now where was I? Sorry, the producer has to push in there. Let us know that it's all working, because this is just a test stream, of course, before we get ready for the procession proper in around about 50 minutes time. I've completely forgotten what I was yammering on about then. Ah, what it takes to put on a carnival procession, of course I was. Now, it is an enormous undertaking, and it really does pay tribute to the Carnival Committee here in Weston-super-Mare, who, like so many processions around the southwest, have an ever-decreasing workforce when it comes to the actual Carnival Committee, and it really does pay tribute to them that they keep this going year after year, albeit with a lot of help from the other carnival towns, a bit of safety in numbers. But if you are in the Weston-super-Mare area and you know anyone that's looking for a bit of a challenge, I'm sure the committee would love to have some new blood on board, as any town that hosts one of these carnivals across the southwest surely would. And of course they do take place across the southwest. We've been running since August Bank Holiday weekend, actually, with the start of the East Devon circuit. That kicked off in Seaton at the beginning of September. And then shortly after that, the second circuit kicks off, the Wessex Grand Prix circuit that takes place. Well, where doesn't it take place, really? It just about drifts into Somerset. It goes into Dorset and up into Wiltshire as well. And that finished 2 weeks ago at Warminster. Believe it or not, some of those entries that were all the way over in Warminster a fortnight ago will be joining us on the streets of Weston-super-Mare tonight. The size and the scale of these vehicles, of course, they can only legally be driven at 20 miles an hour to meet regulations that have been in place by the Department of Transport for the best part of 30 years now. And some of these entries are from places sort of 50, 60 miles away from Weston-super-Mare. For a lot of them, it will be the furthest north that they travel from home. Indeed, we've got a couple of clubs that build literally right next to the south coast, and they're here with us tonight, halfway up the Bristol Channel at Weston-super-Mare. And we do wish them all a successful trip round tonight. I have seen a couple of the clubs have had some issues getting over here. I know the Harlequin Carnival Club sadly were having some issues earlier. I've certainly seen their cart and their generator trailer, but I'm unsure at the moment whether their front towing vehicle, their decorated towing vehicle, is going to make it tonight. So I think they've had some issues with that, but we hope that they'll get that sorted out in time for the procession, or failing that, a future procession further along the circuit. So if you are just joining us, this is the test stream for the 2025 Weston-super-Mare Guy Fawkes Carnival, coming to you live from the corner of the High Street and Oxford Street from the Duke of Oxford pub in the middle of Weston-super-Mare here. It's a very pleasant surrounding for me to speak to you on this rather chilly Friday night. And hopefully you're enjoying proceedings so far from the comfort of your own living rooms. It'll be interesting, of course, tonight to, I've already mentioned the feature and the tableau winners so far in the carnival circuit, and the comic winners, but it'll be interesting to see what happens in the juvenile class this evening, the juvenile carts, as so far we've had two carnivals and we've had two different winners. The Hillview Juvenile Carnival Club from Burnham-on-Sea were triumphant at Bridgewater with their cart, the Jewels of Arabia, although they were knocked down to third place at their home carnival on Monday night, with the Rubelo Juvenile Carnival Club from Chard taking the top spot with their entry, the Spirit of Christmas. And we're going to see both of those tonight, so you can make your own mind up on who you think's the best. Now, if you are interested to see how things pan out when it comes to results at tonight's Weston-super-Mare Guy Fawkes Carnival, I can give you a page on a well-known social media site beginning with the letter F. He says, frantically looking it up for you. As frantically as my phone will go. Somerset County Carnivals Association's official county carnival results. So there you go. If you type in Somerset County Carnivals onto of that social media page that begins with the letter F, then you should be able to find that page, and that is the page that the judging coordinator posts the results to directly as soon as they are finished. So you'll actually see them on there before they're even read out. So that is the page to look up. Somerset County Carnival Association's official County Carnival results is the name of that page. If you are interested in the results later on, I know I will be. Although by the time I get home this evening, I'll probably be ready for a bit of shut-eye. It's been an interesting few weeks. Not only have I been helping my own club, the Gremlins Carnival Club, get their entry ready for Bridgewater, but we've also got ongoing building works at home. And with the weather today, and you're having your roof repaired, it's been a little bit tense, to say the least. But here we are now on the streets of Weston-super-Mare. The carnival atmosphere is building as we get ever closer to their grand procession on a new route for 2025. So if anyone isn't aware, the carts are still lining up in the car park next to the flyover, as they have done for as long as I've been involved in Carnival, which is the best part of 30 years. And then they'll be making their way straight down the side of Tesco, rather than deviating off to the right at the Red Admiral. They'll then be continuing down the Locking Road, down the side of Tesco's, and then swinging round to the to their left onto Walliscote Road, I think that's how you pronounce it, which will then curve around into Oxford Street at the roundabout, where we are on the corner of the High Street at the Duke of Oxford, and then the procession will make its way down to a Marine Parade and pick up the normal route that it always has done, but in reverse. So it will head back along Marine Parade and the Royal Parade, of course, before taking the sharp corner by Weatherspoons onto Knightstone Road, and then doglegging into South Parade, Waterloo Street, Boulevard, of course, before making the right-hand turn into Alfred Street, where it will continue right the way down back to towards the Red Admiral on Alexandra Parade, and the procession will then be back onto Locking Road and making their way into the car park. So it's going to be a bit of an interesting experiment at the moment tonight, because we've got a procession that's going to be starting and finishing in the same place, and the committee are confident that even though we have a large volume of entries, there should be enough room along the route to get everyone in, or get everyone out before we have to get everyone back in. Well, we'll certainly see what happens. And that's just one of the many things that the carnival committees at all the towns have to contend with. Sometimes they are asked to change routes for one reason or another, and make other changes that might not necessarily prove popular. But unfortunately, it is just the world that we live in now. The authorities want to negate risk as much as possible, and the carnivals have to respond to that as much as they can to keep this great tradition alive. Where else could you find, in the middle of November, something as extraordinary as this? Something like, if you put all the carts nose to tail, literally touching each other, it'd be about 3/4 of a mile of lights. So you can imagine by the time they get a breathing space in between them, it's probably well over 1.5 miles of lights that we'll have stretching through the streets of Weston-super-Mare tonight. So quite a sight for you, the viewers. Quite a sight for us sat here. Quite a sight for all the spectators on the streets of Weston tonight. And also quite a spectacle for everyone at the other side of the Bristol Channel, who hopefully will get a good view of a very colourful glow going along the seafront of Weston-super-Mare tonight. If you are just joining us, we are about 40 minutes away from the start of Weston-super-Mare Carnival for 2025. Although we're going to be a little bit longer for it to arrive at this point in the route. We're probably something about 10% into the route, something like that. So it's probably going to be another 20 minutes after the kick-off time before some of the early entries reaches us here on Oxford Street.
It's currently on the screen now.
Okay, so you can... Oh, lovely. There we go. So we should have the text information now on the bottom of your screen. So if you are in a position to donate a little bit more to Weston Carnival tonight to help them in their endeavours to keep this tradition going, you can text £3 to donate £3. You can text Weston to 70331, or to donate £5 you can text Weston to 70970. Thank you, Anthony. It's our Lord and Master there, Anthony, who's keeping an eye on things in the background. I've also got Steve the other side of the desk on the buttons once again. So, of course, greatly appreciated your support already of Weston Carnival's collection tonight by signing up to tonight's live stream, hosted by Lounges.tv and brought to you by Pro V Productions. During the live stream on Lounges, please just to advise you that you can donate by pressing the tip button as well. So that's another way that you can donate, by hitting the tip button on the Lounges.tv platform. But to donate a fixed amount, you can donate £3 by texting Weston to 70331, or to donate £5, text Weston to 70970.
So the tip thing on that. Okay.
We just have a slurp, Steve.
Richard? You can hear it, can't you? Yeah. This is wireless, yeah? RF. Costs a lot of money. That. It's not brand new, it's new to me. It's £5 grand, right? I got it for a fraction of that price.
This is the test stream for Weston Super Mega Folks Carnival 2025. Just to clarify, with the donations, actually, you will see on your Lounges TV screen a tip button. And obviously, as you've already paid for the subscription this evening, if you did decide to donate further to Weston Carnival, then you can hit the tip button and you can pop in any amount that you'd like, and everything from that tip pot tonight will be going directly into the coffers of Weston Carnival collection for tonight. Very important, of course, to keep this event going for years to come. It costs tens of thousands of pounds. There's no getting away from it, from putting this event on in this day and age. So all donations greatly appreciated. So if you are just joining us, this is the test transmission for Weston Super Mega Folks Carnival for 2025. My name's Bill Bevan, and I'll be guiding you through proceedings throughout the evening. Thank you so much for joining us on this stream, which is hosted by lounges.tv and brought to you tonight by Pro V Productions. This is our third year covering the carnivals on these live streams. Our Mr. Producer tonight and one of our cameramen, Anthony, has been filming these processions on the official DVDs for many, many years. Obviously, for the most part, the official DVDs have rather dried up in recent years. Obviously, there's not half the call for them that there was years ago. So 3 years ago, decided to have a go at live streaming the processions, very much in the style of the classic DVD productions that we've seen on DVD and VHS ever since the 1980s. We've got 3 different cameras for you tonight. And in your picture now you can even see the couple of lights that we've got set up. And that's the wonder of lighting technology now. Those 2 little squares you can just see in the bottom left of your corner. 2 LED pad lights that absolutely flood the streets for when the walking entries come past us, or if anyone, dare I say it, goes past us without any lights on. And that very much reflects on Carnival now. Now, years ago you would see certainly the bigger entries with an enormous great big generator box on the back of their cart. Nowadays it's barely noticeable, sort of little box that takes up the last 2 or 3 foot of the entry, such as the revolution that's taken over the carnival world in the last decade. That is the LED light. Of course, it's one of the few areas in the world where, despite the fact that it's, some people could say it's rather frivolous putting on a carnival. I don't think so. But in the last decade, there's been something like a 90% reduction in the power being used by carts because of LED lighting. And as a result of that, the direct result of that is, of course, a 90% reduction in the fuel that they use as well. Clubs were spending thousands of pounds keeping enormous megawatt, 1 million watt generators running for hours at a time years ago. Nowadays it is much smaller sets, but still the same huge amount of light and spectacle, all through the miracle of technology. And one thing that we really are starting to see come to the fore this year more than ever is the use of video screens as well on the larger cart entries, which are being used not only as signage on the front of the entries, but also to depict details throughout the carts themselves. But you'll see more of that later on. We're just over half an hour away now from the beginning of Weston Carnival for 2025. This is the test stream from lounges.tv, being brought to you tonight from Pro V Productions. My name's Bill Bevan. And I believe in a couple more minutes' time we're going to be ending this test stream and switching over to the official one. So do stick with us whilst we unplug one lead and plug in another, and shove an extra heap of coal on the fire to make sure that we keep going all evening.
So give Bill the cue when you come off YouTube. Okay. See.